Canada is known for its pristine lakes, rivers, and natural landscapes. For many, these waterways are a symbol of national pride, a source of recreation, and a crucial part of ecosystems that sustain wildlife and communities. Yet, in recent years, questions have emerged about the balance between cultural practices and environmental responsibility. Today, we explore a topic that sits at the intersection of tradition, migration, and ecological stewardship: the impact of certain cultural practices by the Indian diaspora on Canada's waterways. Across Canada, the Indian diaspora celebrates its rich heritage through colorful festivals, rituals, and ceremonies. Events like Diwali, Holi, and the Ganga Aarti are not just social gatherings. They are deeply spiritual expressions connecting Canadians of Indian origin to centuries of cultural history. But what happens when these rituals, perfectly acceptable in their country of origin, interact with Canada's ecological systems? In July 2025, a Ganga Aarti ceremony, traditionally held on the ghats of the Ganges River in India, was recreated on the banks of the Credit River in Mississauga. Devotees gathered to light floating lamps, chant sacred mantras, and celebrate their connection to their spiritual heritage. While the intent was purely devotional, this event raised environmental questions. Experts warned that materials used in these rituals, like oil lamps, floating candles, and certain offerings, could harm aquatic ecosystems, affecting fish and water quality. While the Ganga River has centuries of religious accommodation for such practices, Canadian rivers are fragile and managed under strict environmental regulations. Similarly, a recent video surfaced showing individuals bathing with soap in a public lake in Brampton. In many parts of India, ritual bathing in rivers is a common cultural practice, sometimes even believed to cleanse sins. In Canada, however, adding soaps or detergents to natural water bodies disrupts delicate aquatic ecosystems and can lead to chemical imbalances, algae blooms, and harm to fish and wildlife. This raises a critical question: how can communities preserve meaningful cultural traditions while respecting the environmental laws and ecological needs of their new home? To understand the stakes, we must examine the broader Canadian water landscape. Despite Canada being home to 20% of the world's fresh water, many First Nations communities face chronic water crises. Some communities have lived decades without access to safe drinking water. Schools, homes, and healthcare facilities struggle with contamination and boil water advisories. The contrast between this ongoing crisis and the ritual practices observed in urban lakes highlights the importance of awareness and shared responsibility. Environmental scientists explain that introducing foreign substances into waterways, whether soaps, oils, or biodegradable offerings, can have long-term consequences. Even seemingly harmless practices like floating flowers or lamps can introduce bacteria, disrupt aquatic plant life, and affect oxygen levels in water. Education, adaptation, and alternatives are crucial. This is not about blaming a community. It's about creating awareness and dialogue. Cultural identity is a source of pride and continuity, and religious rituals are central to personal and collective well-being. However, in a new country with different environmental constraints, adaptation is key. Communities and local governments are now exploring alternatives: rituals using biodegradable materials, artificial water tanks, or virtual ceremonies to honor tradition without damaging waterways. Canada is not alone in facing these challenges. Across the world, countries hosting diaspora communities grapple with integrating cultural traditions with environmental protection. In the United States, European immigrants once faced similar debates over ritual slaughter and public celebrations. Learning from global examples, Canada can develop frameworks for both cultural expression and ecological preservation. The solution lies in collaboration. Environmental authorities, cultural organizations, and community leaders can work together to create guidelines for sustainable celebrations. Educational programs can explain the impact of certain practices on ecosystems while offering alternatives that respect tradition. By fostering understanding rather than conflict, Canada can protect its waters while celebrating its multicultural identity. Canada's waterways are a shared heritage. Preserving them requires cooperation, cultural sensitivity, and environmental awareness. For the Indian diaspora, adapting centuries-old traditions to new ecological contexts is not about losing heritage, it's about honoring it responsibly. And for all Canadians, understanding and dialogue are key to coexisting with both nature and culture. Join the conversation. Learn about how cultural traditions and environmental stewardship can coexist, and share your ideas on protecting our waters for future generations. Please share your thoughts and leave your comments on how you think we can protect our Canadian diversity. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more topics like these.